August 1914. The bronze sun blew a long and shimmering call over the waves of Brighton and Southend, over slapped and pattered pyramids of sand, paper Union Jacks and cockle stalls. A Pierrot aimed his banjo at the gulls. Small spades dug trenches to let the channel in, as nimble donkeys followed their huge heads and charged. In the navy sky, the loud white birds lulled on no wind, then, swinging breathless, skimmed the somersaulting waves. A military band thumped and brayed, brass pump of sentiment, and far from the beach, inland, lace curtains stirred. A girl played Chopin while her sister pored over her careful sewing. Faint green scent of grass was sharpened by a gleam of mint, and farther off, in London, horses pulled their rumbling drays and vans along the Strand or trundled down High Holborn and beyond the Stadium Club, where, in the wounded world of 5 years later, Georges Carpentier felled Bulldog Joe Beckett in a single round. And all is history. Its pages smell faintly of camphor and dead pimpernel coffined in leaves, and something of the sand and salt of holiday. But dead, the end of something never to be lived again. The guns. A few were preserved years after they had died, kept in hushed museums as stuffed animals are. One, a trench mortar, rested amiably inside the recreation ground of a Midland spa. The kids took no more notice of it than the parched fountain or the grass on which they ran. They were too young to have heard the gun's enormous tongue, though the blind voice still broke their parents' sleep. Black sacks of spilled thunder avalanched among the pastures of dreamed peace. Again, Pacific sheep were slaughtered in hot laughter's howl and boom. Wraiths of dead tordites smelt sweet in the waking room. Dawn tamed the darkness in the skull, put thunder down. Rain slanted hair-thin through the haggard sky. Again, gun carriages rumbled through the broken town. Capes gleamed dark metal as the infantry marched by. The guns were silent, but their speakings echoed still. Anger of names, Cambrai, Bethune, Arras, Kemmel Hill. Night will surge back, sure as a counterattack. Lewis guns and Vickers will chatter in their fever. Again, the big guns will slam and slash and hack at silence till it folds above their heads forever. Then even the names will fade. Mere sounds, unbroken code, marks on the page. Passchendaele, Verdun, the Menin Road. Casualties. They were printed daily in the newspapers. A woman in Nottingham went mad reading them. She drowned herself in the Trent. Her name was not included in the casualty list. She was mother of 2 million sons. At night, a frail voice would quaver, cry from its bed of mud, "Stretcher bearers, stretcher bearers." She could not go. She could not bear it. Her mind broke. Barbed wire scrawled illiterate history over the black dough of Belgian fields, was punctuated by anatomies. In Trafalgar Square, an English lady distributed white feathers among civilians. Children with sad moustaches and petite calves prepared to be translated. The crazed mother heard them at night, crying as hot stars exploded, and the earth's belly shook and rumbled with giant erectations. The ambulances lurched through the mire in the brain. Uniformed surgeons in crimson aprons labored at irreparable bodies. Dawn bristled on their scullish jaws. And 2 million of an innocent generation, orphaned by a doomed, demented mother, unlearned an axiom. They discovered only the lucky few meet death once only. War songs. A lesson that their children knew by heart, where it lay stonily in that September. Conscripted man, anonymous in hot brown or blue, intoned his rank and number. The discs, strung from his neck, no amulet against the ache of loss, were worn in darkness under grave blankets in the narrow cot after the bugles skirmish with night silence. In trembling cities, civil sleep was probed by the wild sirens, blind and wounded howling. White searchlights hosed the sky, black planets throbbed. At night, all buildings put on total mourning. And when dawn yawned, the washed skies were afloat with silver saveloys, whose idle motion and conference with puffed clouds appeared to mock bereaving night and morning's lamentations. And then, down country lanes, the crop-haired sons and nephews of the skeletons of Flanders made seance of their march, as on their tongues the old ghosts sang again of Tipperary, packing kit bags, getting back to Blighty, but soon, bewildered, sank back to their graves when other songs were bawled, a jaunty music with false bragging words. The Siegfried line transformed with comic washing hanging from it. Sergeants and corporals were blessed. The barrel rolled. But behind the grinning words and steady tramping, the sergeant of the dark was taking names and marking time to that lugubrious singing. We're saying goodbye to them all. And far away from gun pit, barrack square and trench, the mother sewed the dark garments for tomorrow's mourning. Eidolon Parade. grey wind prowls across the lake of stone. The flag flicks like a summer horse's tail. The brass voice of the bugle climbs and clings high before it crumbles, falls and fades. CSM Hardy, back from Salerno Beach, glitters with sea salt. Twinkles nest in his eyes, but his voice grinds loud as ever as he calls the nominal roll. Corporal Mick Maguire has returned from Alamein. Each orifice is clogged with sand, but tonight he will appear once more at the church hall, battle dress pressed and patent leather highlights on his feet. And when the lights are dimmed, the last waltz makes its passionate interrogation. Who's taking you home tonight? Who but Maguire, although his terrible kiss will taste of sand gritting on shocked teeth, and his cold cheek will seem to her a stony reprimand. And while the corporal tangos, Private Bain, a bunch of corals hanging from each wrist, will sluice his guts with 20 blackened hands. But he stands still now, sober, at attention with that small company paraded there, waiting for inspection. Dodger Ray, equipment scruffy and an idle bootlace, is put on an eternal 252. Spike Liston, gone to the Belson boy or saint, still rages for more grub. Bull Evans broods on all the thighs he'll never lie between or lie about, his pack and pouches stuffed with fantasies and condoms. Les King, who crooned like Bing, is back from Mareth, where he lay, the tunes mislaid, gargling with his blood. His songs are out of date, and there are others whose faces, though familiar, fade and blur. The bugle publishes another cry. 2 more commands explode. Butts and boots crash and ring. Another echoing shout, and by the left they start to march away. The steady tramping dims into a mist. The stone ground stretches in its vacancy. One final flick of flag. The mist comes down, and silence stuns with its enormous weight, and there is nothing left to do but sleep.